Welcome to People, Power, and Politics. Hard talk, riveting interviews, community updates, in-depth analysis. That's People, Power, and Politics. We tell it to you as it is. No holds barred. You are the people. You have the power. We bring you the politics. To listen to our podcast, be a guest, or to advertise, visit www.pppradio.nyc. That's www.pppradio.nyc.
A very warm welcome to everyone. We are joined by a special guest, Council Member Farah Louis, who represents the 45th District in Brooklyn. The council member sponsored Intro 279A, a bill that will require the Commission on Racial Equity Corps to work with subject matter experts to study the historical and present-day role of New York City government in perpetrating or perpetuating slavery and related racial injustices, and to consider reparative measures for such injustices. Welcome, Council Member. Such a pleasure and honor to have you here with us.
Thank you for having me today. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. So, can you explain the main goals of Intro 279 and why it's necessary for the Commission on Racial Equity to study the role of New York City government in the history of slavery and racial injustices?
So the primary goal of Intro 279A is to mandate a comprehensive study on New York City's involvement in slavery and the ongoing impacts that the history of that history on Black and Brown communities. So while New York City is often seen as a very progressive city, its economic foundations were built in part on an institution of slavery and its legacy. So New York City is not exempt from this conversation. The whole purpose of the bill is necessary to identify the structural inequities that have been resulted from the legacy, whether it's redlining, whether if it's subprime lending practices, segregation in schools, or overall lack of resources in communities like mine in District 45. We have areas that are considered food and transportation deserts, receiving lack of resources. So the goal for us is to study the harmful practices, and our aim is to inform the concrete policy recommendations on how to repair those damages.
Okay. So looking at the cooperation of city agencies, the bill requires city agencies to cooperate with cause inquiries. What challenges do you foresee in achieving this cooperation, and how can they be addressed to ensure a thorough investigation?
So one challenge I think we anticipate is that certain agencies may be resistant to fully cooperating, or we have often the elephant in the room, and that's bureaucracy and getting the information in time so that we can conduct studies. So the goal for us, and we know that it won't be easy to confront a painful history. That's for some agencies and folks within. Some may be hesitant to fully engage, but we know the cooperation of city agencies is crucial to ensure a thorough and honest investigation. So we know that we have to ensure the mayor's office, and I'm sure that he is going to make sure that this gets done, involved in setting up clear guidelines and oversight mechanisms to make sure that the city agencies fully participate and provide necessary documentation to support the study.
And looking at community involvement, how will the Commission ensure that community voices and perspectives are included in the reparation study, and what role do local residents have in shaping the recommendations?
Community involvement is paramount here, and it's essential to this study. Those mostly affected by the legacy of slavery are the ones that can be able to best articulate the ongoing impacts of that history and their lives and the legacies. The Commission will actively seek to input everything that they can from local residents. So how that looks is the bill has language that requires town hall meetings, focus groups, public forums, also providing a platform for people to share their experiences and perspectives on what reparations could look like. So we look forward to local residents playing a pivotal role in shaping the recommendations by bringing attention to specific challenges their communities have faced.
Okay. And in your opinion, what types of reparative measures could potentially be included in the recommendations, and how might these measures address both historical and ongoing injustices faced by affected communities?
So I often hear from folks, and whenever I'm being interviewed, folks often say, "Is this all about money?" No. The reparative measures that could come from this study would be broad and multifaceted, reflecting the depth and range of the harms caused by the legacy of slavery. And that's the focus of this. It's not just on financial reparations and financial restitution, it's also in things like investments in Black-owned businesses and economic development, housing policy, making sure that we're giving Black and Brown people access to housing the same way any other race would receive. Healthcare, we talk about the maternal mortality and morbidity issue here in our city and our country. So we know that that has to be at the forefront of this conversation. And education, we know that all schools are not made equal. So the aim here is to address disparities that presently and are persistently happening today in all facets.
And finally, Councilmember Louis, what's next? How can the community engage? How can we get more information? What can we do?
The community will have several opportunities to engage throughout this process. Part of that is the town halls that I mentioned earlier, public forums, and other community meetings. These will provide platforms for residents to be able to share their voice and give their input. Our office will be actively involved in communicating updates and encourage everyone to stay informed to participate. And we will also encourage everyone to stay in contact with CORE. That's the mayor's office main agency that will be managing this process. So my office is available to everyone to contact, and we'll make sure that everyone gets the information. Our number here is 718-629-2900, and we look forward to working with the community on the next steps.
All right. So thank you so much, Councilmember Farah Louis, who represented the 45th District in Brooklyn, for sponsoring this important bill for our communities.
Thank you so much.
You're so very welcome.
This show is a production of IQ Inc. Marketing. If you would like to advertise your product or service on this show to the U.S. and Caribbean markets and through our multicultural publications in New York, please call 866-435-3286 or send an email to info@myiqinc.com.
People, Power, and Politics. Hard talk, riveting interviews, community updates, in-depth analysis. That's People, Power, and Politics. We tell it to you as it is. No holds barred. You are the people, you have the power. We bring you the politics. To listen to our show, be a guest, or to advertise, visit www.pppradio.nyc. That's www.pppradio.nyc.